Bros. I'm Brad Patton. Today we welcome the Amity Affliction frontman, Joel Birch, to the podcast. The Amity Affliction will release House of Cards this Friday on Pure Noise Records. Joel talks about getting injured on the Summer of Loud tour, expressing pain and grief through songwriting, his clarity around sobriety, his ideas for the album artwork and what it represents, and more. House of Cards features some of the Amity Affliction's heaviest work to date while maintaining their signature sound. I think from start to finish, this album is incredible and will absolutely be one of my favorites of the year. This conversation with Joel gets pretty heavy at times, but I think it creates a great backdrop for the lyrical content on House of Cards. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of As the Story Grows. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Patreon page, and our Discord server. And if you like what you hear or have yet to subscribe, I would love it if you subscribe to the podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Enjoy today's conversation with Joel Birch from the Amity Affliction.
Okay.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. How you doing?
I was like, can we move it to 3/320/? I'm trying. I'm failing, but I'm trying. Yeah.
All good, man. How we survived the first weekend of tour? How's the start of tour?
Yeah, it's been like great so far. I was just saying before, I like feel a little bit run down because we shot a music video on our day off, but yeah, like it was very fun though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been great so far. No qualms. The first night my voice was a little bit shit, but I did I'd say the 4 hours of talking to meet and greet to first show tour kind of got me a little.
Yeah. Because last summer you guys did Summer of Loud, is it hard to kind of scale back to a club tour, or is it like, I don't know, just kind of normal? Do you not mind that big stage to little stage or whatever?
Oh, this is so much better. Like we weren't like headlining or anything on that tour, so we were just kind of eating shit for the whole thing. Which is like whatever, it was a great tour to be on, and we were in a good spot in the lineup. But if you weren't one of the four, then it is what it is. That's how it goes. It doesn't matter how long you've been around, unless you're at the top of the bill, you're getting treated a certain kind of way. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I caught that tour. I guess it was the last show of the tour. You guys probably had my favorite set of the day.
Oh, thank you.
But you were in a cast. So
yeah, I had a moon boot.
Yeah. Did that happen on tour, before tour, and how was that experience touring?
Yeah, dude, that happened on stage.
Oh, geez.
I don't think I'd stood on the drum riser for I'm saying at least 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
I just had not stood on it. And I don't know why. And I think even previous to that, I think in all our years of being in the band, I've not spent much time standing on the drum riser, right?
And you won't again.
Dude, we were having so much fun, and I got up there to give Joe knuckles, and then I went to step backwards off the drum riser, and I just ate shit. And there's funny footage actually of our videographer. He had one of those Insta 360 cameras on a pole, and you can see him. He starts laughing, and then he sees that I've hurt myself, and he's like, his whole face changes. So, some comedy came out of it at least. And then my tour manager was like, wheeling me to go to the van to go to the hospital, and like the wheelchair ran into a plank of wood and like catapulted me out of the wheelchair. It was some experience.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Still put on a great show with the boot on. So,
Yep, the show must go on.
Yeah. At what point, kind of in this cycle from the last record to through the big tours, did writing for this new record start?
I mean, we wrote All That I Remember, like, what, 2024?
Okay.
We just wanted to put a song out there, and I think we're probably ready to write an album then, but only because we were like very motivated. And then we toured like just a shitload of touring, which is, I mean, that's just what we do anyway. And it looks like a lot, but it's like we're on the road, generally speaking, like 5 months of the year, I would say, like including travel and everything.
Yeah.
And I think last year we did 6 months or something. So it was busy, but we had a really small window in between Summer of Loud and the Parkway Drive-Thru in Europe, and we were like, that's the spot. And well, I mean, I said that to Dan. I was like, that's when we have to record. I was like, because we can't record after the European tour because it's like Christmas time, and then we're going into this other tour, and then we really wanted to have an album out. Actually, like we wanted it out before Christmas last year. And it just didn't work out like that at all. There's like a lot of bullshit happening behind the scenes that's like gotten in the way. But you know, I told Dan that, and he was like, "Oh, I won't be ready," and I was like, "Yeah, you will," because we've never written an album without giving ourselves a timeline.
Yeah.
Ever. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with this because it's very stressful, but that's like the only time that we'll produce an album is like if someone says, okay, like this day to this day, that's when you're recording, and we're like, okay. And then it's, I guess it gives you some sort of like mission, you know?
Yeah.
And now Dan is like absolutely not writing a fucking single song for at least 12 months, you know?
So people better enjoy this record.
Yeah.
Without My Ghost, you guys took over kind of the production side of the album.
Oh, the full production. Yeah, because I guess we did the EP where we self-produced, and we were just like, oh, this is way better. Like, yeah, we really did not need a fucking producer at all on Everyone Loves You Once You Leave Them. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
It was so pointless, and frustrating to do that record with a producer. It was like just so dumb. It was so much money, and like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still pissed off about that. Especially after doing like fucking 3 releases in a row with no producer and just realizing how good it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's anyway. I mean, it makes sense because I feel like having gone back through the band's discography, you know, by the time you get to Ocean, that's when I feel like Amity Affliction hones in on their sound. I mean, everything is like in evolution from that moment on of just being better at that, which is.
Yeah, well, that was the first record where we had Dan writing also.
Yeah.
And the album before was written, like musically, written entirely by Aaron.
Yeah.
And it's really good. It's a great album. You know, I think, like, I mean, I've written the lyrics forever, and people contributed to Chasing Ghosts, but for the most part, that was like the Aaron album, musically, and he burned himself out, like completely. I just remember after that album, he was just like, I'm fucked. I don't know if I can write another song. You know what I mean? And then we got Dan in the band, and he's just like fucking, I don't know, he's a bit of a whiz. It's like, you know, he he's written a lot of albums for bands that people don't know he wrote. So yeah.
New album's called House of Cards. For a long time, your lyrics have been really personal and introspective. Does it continue to be therapy for you, or is it hard to continue to go back those places, especially touring so much and having to hit those songs over and over again?
Man, something has happened in between every album we've ever released, and so I doubt that's going to stop anytime soon. Plus, having like a lifelong mental illness gives you a fair amount of ammo to to keep writing, you know. So I think Chasing Ghosts, I probably tried to move away from it a little bit, and that's like an external album for me lyrically. I was kind of existing outside of what I was writing about. And, you know, Let the Ocean Take Me, I was back in it. And then This Could Be Heartbreak was the last album where I was like trying to put this happy ending on the songs. And then, I don't know, everything got really fucking miserable after that. You know what I mean? For like quite a while. And this album's, you know, it's no different really. I saw some kid be like, "Oh, this one's just less depressing," and I'm like, "Oh, bro." Like the first line of Heaven Sent is literally about having a cigarette put out on my arm. So I don't know. Like that seems pretty depressing to me. But yeah, I don't know. It's for the therapy for me is playing the shows.
Yeah, getting it all out there.
Yeah, getting it all out there. And you know what? Like, oftentimes that has nothing to do with what I'm even singing.
Yeah.
It's just like seeing the connection being built there is very meaningful for me.
Yeah. House of Cards is a song on the record, but what led to that being the title of the album?
It comes from a song that didn't make the album.
Okay.
And I wrote a line that was, "You grew up in a stable home, I grew up in a house of cards." And it was like, I guess, I just answered this question last night, so this is like right at the front of my mind. But when I wrote that, I was really frustrated with some attitudes towards like the discrepancy in people's upbringings. Mm-hmm. And the dismissal of the difference that it has, you know, the difference of effect it has on someone growing up in like a nice, loving, stable environment versus someone growing up in an abusive household, you know, and like an unstable household. Like I was in like, I just figured this out last night as well, just while I was doing the interview, but I was in a different house from the age of 4 until I left home when I was 17. So 13 years, and almost every 18 months I was in a different house. So it would, and part of this was like out of one, back into one, out of that house, back into that house, out of one. So it was like back and forth with my stepdad, and you know, that kind of instability affects a kid, whether you like it or not. And, you know, obviously it's pretty strange. Like aging is a weird thing where the older you get, the more you look back to see how you got to where you are, kind of thing. Like just as a person, not in life, but just as someone, you know what I mean? Like what makes me. You start like thinking about that kind of shit, and that was just like it's always been a sticking point where I've said this since I was a child, you know, when my mum would be like, "Well, the kids in Ethiopia are starving," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not in Ethiopia."
Right. Yeah.
like my problem is relative to where I'm at. And like, this is my problem right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guess it's something I've always believed, you know, like despite my distaste for how some people live, I do think that you need to view everyone's problems relative to their station.
Yeah.
Because you never know. Like I know people that grew up with fucking zero money that had the best parents ever, and they've gone on to succeed where their parents just didn't have the opportunities. And I know people who are dead who grew up with multi-millionaire parents, you know, and they died of drug overdoses. So I think everyone, you know, that's where the album title came from. You know, it's like, I grew up in this, and you know, I was a little bit pissed off about someone, I think at the time, was like dismissive of it. And I was like, you just can't be dismissive of people's experiences, you know? Like, because they happened.
Yeah. It's one of the things I've talked about with my wife often, where she'll be like, oh, it's a first world problem. And I'm like, yeah, but it's your fucking problem. So like, don't dismiss it and lower it. Like,
like it is, but it's also like, this is where we live.
Right.
If we lived somewhere else, it would be a different problem.
Yep.
And we would still have to tackle the different problem, just like everyone does, you know?
There's a lot in the press release that was sent over with the album, but there seems to be, I don't know, a certain clarity to your journey in sobriety with this album. Has that been there since you got sober, or is that kind of new realization?
No way. No way. I think becoming sober from anything is a fucking marathon, you know what I mean? And it's the kind of thing where I will never see myself as being out of the woods, like, ever, because I know how fast like the fall would be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know where the bottom of the cliff is, and I know I'm just walking on the edge at any given time. So, you know, I went to Alcoholics Anonymous for a year, and it wasn't really for me. I didn't really like it. I forced myself to go to prove a point to me, you know. Also, I had a lot of making up to do for a lot of people in my life. So I was like, I didn't really say anything when I stopped drinking. I didn't say what I was doing. I didn't tell anyone anything. I just did things. And that was one of the things, because I was like, I have to prove to people I'm like trying to fix myself, and saying I'm doing stuff is not it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as I wanted to be saying stuff because it's easy, but I was like, I did it. But I've never, thankfully, like, wanted to have a drink. My problems are sort of different to that. Like, my self-destructive tendencies are elsewhere. Like, gambling is much worse for me. Like, the urge to gamble when I'm really, really fucked is like quite hard to fight. And I haven't done that now for 3 years, but that was like the thing that just slid into where alcoholism kind of sat. So I have clarity around my sobriety because I've been sober for 10 years, but I also know that it's like, no addict is ever not an addict. You know, like, you don't get cured of it.
Right.
You like stop doing the thing or you don't. And that's it. That's kind of that's the two paths. There's no middle path there for people like me. It's like, you're all in or you're all out. And I have to be all out, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't romanticize it. It sucks. I think I was a super shit person by the time I stopped drinking. I think I was a fairly shit person for a couple of years after that as well. You know, like, angry, very angry. Just a bit of a downer, a bit of a Debbie Downer there for a while, you know.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, maybe I'm like more comfortable being sober now.
Yeah.
And like I can like try and regulate what's happening. Like, and I do have to try still. Like I have to be very like intentional with things. So yeah, I don't know if that shows through on the album itself, but it's there.
It's there. Yeah. It's funny. I went to AA for a year when I got sober, and
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, just to do like, all right, I made it a year, but I also was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, bro, I hated it. I was like, all these people just want to get drunk again, like real bad.
Yeah,
you know, they're like,
I did
yeah,
not.
and they're like, there was this night and I did this and blah, it was crazy. And I'm just like, bro, like, fuck, shut up. Like, or there's like the same story, you know, like some of them just have the one thing that they say every night of the week. And you're just like, aren't you sick of saying this? Like, I'm sick of you saying it. And you've been here for like 15 years. Yeah. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Whatever works, you know.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about the album is the sequencing of it, because I think every song on the album is incredible. Like it's
Thank you, bro.
But when you get to Eternal War at the end, you guys were like, all right, now we're really fucking heavy. Like,
yeah,
what led to that decision?
So we are like a 9-song band. And the 10th song has always ended up being a softer song. And Dan was just like, nah, not this time. And he went the other way. And that's kind of it. It was song 10, like it was called song 10. Like when we go into the studio, we just have song 1, song 2, etc. And it was song 10. And it was always song 10, and it stayed at song 10. And yeah, the sequencing is all Dan.
Okay.
So I have nothing to do with that. I barely even get to name the songs. So.
Nice. Yeah, I like it because it's like, I think the record in a lot of respects is heavier than you've done before, while still, you know, having your signature, just incredible catchy choruses on every track. But like Eternal War just punches you in the face to close the record, and it's like, geez.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be the peak of heavy, I think, for us. Otherwise we're like stepping into territory where we're just not that band, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who came up with the concept for the album artwork?
I came up with that in conjunction with the artist that we did it with. So his name is Heedy Zant. He's worked with Ghost. He's worked with Parkway Drive. He's done a bunch of other music related stuff. And I sent him lyrics and like went back and forth with him for a while, and we were sort of discussing the concept of the mother and like how the mother is supposed to be this like nurturing, loving piece of your life, and like what does it look like when they aren't. And yeah, I think like when people see the vinyl, it makes a lot more sense. Just the cover on its own is like pretty weird for us. But also like I have like art directed or designed most of our albums. And I mean, I did the last one, I did the one before it, I did the EP before that, I did most of the one before that. And then we handed it off. Let the Ocean Take Me and This Could Be Heartbreak were done by a guy, Pat Fox. Chasing Ghosts was done by someone else. Youngbloods, I was all over that one. And then I did Sabotage and everything before it. So I just get sick of doing it, man. And I get to, like, I hate what I do. And I always look at our album covers and I look at other people's album covers and I'm always unsure, like, oh, they're good. I don't know. And then, you know, I know that this one is like starkly different to everything we've done before, but I wanted everything to be different, you know, like for obvious reasons, you know, like we parted ways with Aaron and he was in the band for 21 years.
Yeah.
from when he started it with 3 other people, you know. And I mean, I still talk to the original drummer, like we're still friends. Like he left to pursue a life being a pastor, actually. Yeah, he's like one of the loveliest people on earth. But it's like, you know, Aaron had been in the band only a year more than me.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's like the band's identity changed, you know, and I just didn't want to keep the same shit going.
Yeah.
You know, like I wanted at least a clear marking, like definition of the next part, you know, like whatever it is, because you know, like nothing is certain. Things seem to be okay, but nothing is like certain, you know. So
yeah,
I did that, and we've copped a lot of shit and whatever. I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like anything we did was gonna be shit on for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, there would be something wrong with it, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I like the concept of taking off the mask and then you're hit with this super emotional record.
Yeah. It's like, you know, like, yeah, that's meant to be like the figure of a mother, and that's like the mask is what we think we're meant to get, and then what we really get is like something completely different.
Yeah.
And it can be, that can be the father or whatever, but the whole artwork, like inside the vinyl, is like a figure bowing down to the mother and has a mask up here that's facing the mother, and that's also like you know, acting like there's some sort of emotional fealty to this figure of the mother, while really there's other shit going on, you know. So there's a lot to it that people just don't know, that couldn't have possibly been explained
Yeah.
with just the front cover, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But fuck me, what do you do?
Right. Yeah. I know there was a point where you thought about leaving the band, quitting the band, but I mean, you've now been, you know, fronting Amity Affliction for almost 2 decades now. Like, what is it that keeps you inspired and going still?
It's 22 years for me this year I've been in this band. So that's half of my life, like actually half of my entire existence on planet Earth has been in this band, which is crazy, and is also like crazy when I think about the amount of shit talking I have to read every day still. But I think like the environment in the band was so bad. It was so toxic, man. It was like we were all so fucked and burnt out, and like Dan was done. He sent a text and was just like, "Hey, if he's coming to Europe, I'm not coming. Like, I'm staying home." And I was like, "Yeah, well, this is what I was thinking." And he was like, "Well," and then Joe was kind of on the same page, and just sort of made sense to, we all wanted to keep going. And it was, you know, we've poured ourselves into this, and it was just worth taking the risk, I suppose, because it's a huge risk. And I don't know, man, what else would I be doing? You know, like, this is a really good job. Like, I feel very fortunate, and it's hard, and I suffer from, you know, lots of feelings of isolation in life, like, because of it. And it is a very isolating job, and I don't think people really see that side of it, but it's also so rewarding, like so rewarding. So I just, you know, being on stage, that's what keeps me going, and it does so quite easily, you know.